So are you ready to take the tour? Let's do it. Follow us.
See, she's in charge. So one of the kind of the early principles with the house I figured out after struggling mightily was to kind of take my eraser, my virtual eraser, and erase all the labels for the rooms and make it much more open-ended how the space worked. And that really kept me a little bit more plastic in my thinking about how to create elevations in between spaces and how this building can be lived in at different times.
So I'm drawn to, you can just sit and enjoy whatever you might find out there from inside.
Right, as we're doing now. And the animals don't seem to mind. We ended up putting up a loft area here and the famous net bed up there.
What I like about this is it creates a cool space here, but yeah, I mean, it brings up so much light and you can still hear what's going on downstairs too.
Right, so that level of connectivity actually makes a house, I think, feel more friendly and more connected, at least for a smaller house.
So this is pretty much like the heart of the, is it? It feels
yeah, it really is. This is definitely like some of the central mechanical equipment. For most passive houses, the heat recovery ventilator or energy recovery ventilator. And you know, every type building needs fresh air. Human beings need fresh air. But at the same time, we don't want to compromise the energy or other comfort issues by putting just raw fresh air from the outside in, because we lose a lot of heat too. So we specify these energy recovery ventilators. And what it does is it takes fresh air from the outside and it goes through a heat exchanger and then up through these pipes and it feeds like bedrooms and living space with fresh air, and it extracts the air from the kitchen, from the bathroom, from where you have storage maybe, and all the kind of polluting sources, and it takes that air. They both go through a heat exchanger and it takes the stale air outside again, hopefully stripped of most of its energy. In this case, I was also able to put a heating coil on it, which is connected to the water heater and a small pump. Because I'm off grid, I don't have that much energy to work with. So this is a pretty energy efficient way to do it. And so this will heat up the air that gets distributed through the house. And we're filtering the air. This is basically just a plastic. And if we have a current from the air from the outside, it's going in through to a motor that blows it through the house. And then as the stale air comes in, it goes through the other side of the core to the outside. And it's transferring the heat from inside to the outside air coming in. So part of the experimenting of the house is, you know, how little heat do we really need to run it with? And I did in-wall radiant heat as well, and it didn't work so great. So to make up for that, for the hydronic system, we put together a very low energy bath fan. I think this draws about 5 watts for maybe 60 CFM or so, and then hooked it up to a coil and then ran hot water through it and then just blow it, cascade it into the living space. So between that and the HRV, I should be able to distribute enough hot air into the house so that on those really cold days, we're able to maintain temperature.
So this is the kitchen and the bath.
So the kitchen and the bath. And the kitchen's kept as simple as possible. It's right in the middle of the building and where you enter. So it's kept to its bare minimum. And then the kitchen actually extends out past here, so the refrigerator. Everybody says, there's no refrigerator in this house. It's like, no, it's actually hidden. But it's easy to get to. Look, baking soda. It's where we keep our baking soda.
Keep it cold.
And then this is my favorite room, is the bathroom. And a lot of thought and work went into putting just a sunken shower space into it. So there was a lot of structural work that had to be done. And really simple tiles. Everything was simple in the house. Like, this is just fencing, for instance, up there, 2 by 6-inch wide fencing material. And the tile itself is just the cheapest stuff you can buy at the Home Depot.
Because these are what, 6-inch tiles?
6-inch tiles.
And then it goes down to 4-inch
It goes down to 4-inch tiles right here. And then we had a little conversation about how to deal with this space, so we went to 2-inch tiles just to complete the motif of scale.
The illusion.
The illusion, exactly. So just like the rest of the house, where it was about small space to big space, I guess, the tile kind of is a play off of that.
And then the bedroom, which is actually a really good size.
Right? So one of the secrets about small house design is not to make things small in them. So, go high, go big. Even though this is the smaller end of the house, I think this is about 7.5 foot right here. The rest of the space quickly gets pretty big. One of the interesting things about Passivhaus is because it's passive, we have to cool these buildings too. So cross ventilation is a big part of how you can naturally cool the building, of course, in the summertime, especially at night. So these beautiful tilt and turn windows open in a couple of different ways. So they tilt, which is nice. This is a typical European window. You almost won't not find these types of windows through Europe. You can also make them turn so they're really open. And when they're open, even if they're like this, I can create a cross ventilation with another window on the other side of the wall. It creates enough of pressure difference both on the height and the different sides of the building that I can get lots of good natural airflow through.
One of the things that we've noticed staying here versus our own house is we have to have the temperature higher in our house for it to feel comfortable. And you have a theory as to why that is, which I think is probably based in science.
If you can make science up. So right now I think it's 64 degrees in this
Let's
house.
go look.
Yeah.
Let's take a look. The heating system has not been on for days.
So it's 28
Outside.
outside and
And then
it's
64 on the inside.
So why does 64 feel like 74 at my house?
It does, doesn't it? I mean, it does. Like, it could feel warmer in this house than the other house, even when the other house can be 5 degrees warmer, for instance. And a lot of it is the comfort has to do not just with the temperature of the air. It's really your senses are feeling heat being drawn from your skin from cold surfaces. So that plays as large a role, I think, in comfort. And also, we don't have like hot spots and cold spots through the building because we're not running heating. We don't have really overly cold spots either. So I don't have this temperature differential feeling, which can also enhance that. So I think the comfort range in a Passivhaus, like say a regular house is going to be maybe 78 to 72 degrees for a typical, like really truly comfort range. I think Passivhaus, I can extend that comfort range dramatically higher from say 78 degrees to maybe the lower mid 60s and be just as comfortable because just the thermal heat loss through my skin or through my clothing from a cold wall is less evident in this building, especially around the windows.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what I've
You can
noticed.
sit right next to and not feel.
Yeah, I mean, you can sit in these windows and it's actually very comfortable.
Yeah, and especially you want lots of window when you got a view like this and look at that sunset, but the clouds are just broken over Storm Mountain.